I'm Janice Edwards. Coming up on Signature Silicon Valley, 1,000 Hearts for 1,000 Minds is calling upon all who can to do their part to narrow the achievement gap. Sam Liccardo and Natasha Baker are with us to share how you can help struggling students. Then, if it's August, it's time for the San Jose Jazz Festival. Brendan Rawson is with us with the scoop on this year's festivities. That's next. Join us. Welcome to Signature Silicon Valley. I'm Janice Edwards. Last year, the Silicon Valley Leadership Group and the City of San Jose launched an initiative known as 1,000 Hearts for 1,000 Minds to help narrow the achievement gap here in our valley. In a region that's known for innovation, the performances of many students from kindergarten through 8th grade are alarmingly poor. There are a lot of factors that contribute to that, and this program is designed to help those students who are most in need. San Jose City Councilman Sam Liccardo is one of the co-founders of the initiative, and Natasha Baker is the program associate. Welcome to you both. Thanks for being here. Sam, nice to have you with us again, I should say.
Thank you, Janice. Always a pleasure.
Yes, let's talk about this because there are a lot of conversations about the achievement gap. There are a lot of programs designed to address it in a certain way, but what was the thought with the 1,000 Minds for 1,000 Hearts?
Well, we don't pretend to know what all the answers are to solving and filling the achievement gap, but we know that we're going to need a lot of different solutions, and we think one very important solution is one-on-one tutoring. What we've seen certainly in the academic literature and what we see in everyday experience is that the one-on-one relationship of an adult with a child and helping them improve their reading, their math, their science is really transformative and has had huge impacts when they've studied it and certainly in our own experience. So we thought, how can we help expand tutoring programs throughout the valley? And this is what this effort's really about.
Yes, and so it's hearts for minds, I should say.
Yes.
I said it the other way.
1,000 hearts for 1,000 minds,
exactly.
but it all works.
Exactly. And Natasha, you are a tutor and you also execute the program. So when people come to you, at what point do you decide that this is an appropriate student for a tutor, or how does the whole process work?
Sure. So 1,000 Hearts for 1,000 Minds really serves as an umbrella organization. So as Sam mentioned, realizing that we aren't the ones with the answers, what we really wanted to do is to direct resources to existing programs in the Valley in the form of volunteers. So we actually partner with 16 different nonprofits throughout the Valley who have their own curriculum, who have their own programs in place, and just need volunteers to be able to meet the need. And so my job is to really serve as the linking piece between a volunteer who's interested in making a difference, doing something, and then the program that's most appropriate for them based on their location, based on their availability, and based on what skills and interests that they have.
So they just say, I'd really like to help. They contact you and you figure out which program. So then the programs themselves would vet the volunteers as opposed to you having to do it?
Absolutely. And we do it at both an individual level and a group level. So we do a lot of outreach, as this is a partnership with the Silicon Valley Leadership Group, a lot with corporate companies in the Silicon Valley. So if there's a company interested in really doing something on a larger scale, they'd like to get a team involved, that's part of my job as well, to really create that tailored experience for them and trying to find something local. You know, one of our great success stories is that we've worked with El Camino Hospital in Mountain View to get them involved with a local program called Just Read, which is literacy for middle school students at a middle school just around the corner from the hospital. And so they have a team of employees that are out there volunteering now, and it's great because it creates internal champions within the company. And so for the following school year, they can get more of their employees and their colleagues involved and passionate about serving that school and really creating a bond within the community that didn't necessarily exist before.
Yes, it's great community building, and of course, talking about champions, you're a champion for so many, Sam, and you and Carl Gardino decided to do this, and Keena Turner is also, who are some of the other people who are part of the leadership with this?
A lot of great 49ers got involved in our launch effort, and so we're very grateful to Dwight Clark and Keena Turner and so many other folks who are out there helping to launch this with us a few months ago. As you know, I think as Natasha mentioned, the benefit of bringing everybody together, these 16 nonprofits, is the fact that it is so challenging for many people who are so busy in this valley to find a convenient opportunity to get involved. They want to get involved, but the place is not the right place or the time doesn't work with their schedule. So by being able to consolidate all these wonderful organizations, knowing what they have the ability to do, we're able to offer each individual who is interested in tutoring opportunities to find something that works for their life.
Yes, and that's so important. And it's hard to imagine in one way to say 1 hour a week can make such a difference, but you know firsthand because you both have tutored, and I have too in the past, not so recently, but it does. It's just that time and someone knowing that they can look forward to that connection too. I think that that's one of the things that students are missing these days in our fast-paced world.
No, I think you're right, Janice. I mean, the reality is we know that so many kids are struggling really because of circumstances beyond their control. Maybe, you know, they've got a single parent at home who's working 2 jobs just to put food on the table. And as a result, there just aren't many relationships with caring adults in their lives where the adult really has time. And so this is really an opportunity to let that student know, hey, there's an adult out there who cares about how you're doing. And it is really transformative in being able to be a catalyst for improvement.
Yes, and Natasha, how old are the students that you tutor?
I've done mostly elementary school students, and to piggyback on Sam's comment, it's also about creating an expectation for that student. By having someone who's making a commitment on a week-to-week basis, that means that they're investing their time in that student, and that sends a signal to the student that someone is investing time in me, and therefore I'm worth that investment. And you know, setting an expectation that they may not be getting in their school environment or their home environment, that they really have the potential to succeed. So it's the material, of course, but again, it's about creating that environment, that climate of success and expectation that they may not be getting in other aspects. And so, you know, to give a very concrete example, one of the students I've worked with on a very simple homework assignment, he had to do a word puzzle regarding proverbs and, you know, common sayings like "it's raining cats and dogs" and, you know, "a watch pot never boils," and things that we use colloquially all the time, but that are very culturally sensitive. And I could imagine the student's frustration going home and trying to complete this assignment with his parents, and there just being a cultural barrier there and perhaps a language barrier as well, and him not being able to complete his homework. And so I had, you know, the fortunate circumstances to know what those meant and be able to assist him. So not only helping him complete the assignment and helping him succeed academically, but crossing a cultural bridge as well and helping him be more integrated with his peers in the school system. So a simple homework assignment can really have big implications.
Yes, that's very important, and that's a great example of that. I'm wondering, too, why do you think that we continue to see California at the bottom when it comes to academic achievement when there's so much here that is so rich? I mean, we're in the Valley, there's innovation. Any thoughts about that, Sam?
You know, I think certainly there are a lot of folks out there pointing fingers at a lot of sources, and I'm not an education expert. I do tutor, and that's about as much as I know about education. But I do think within Silicon Valley, we recognize there's really a tale of 2 valleys here. And part of the challenge, I mean, the great richness of Silicon Valley is we are so diverse, but at the same time, for the most part, many of the folks who come here, who start great companies and employ thousands of people, are often from somewhere else. Often those somewhere else's are other countries, and so they may not feel a strong connection to the place here in Silicon Valley. It may be that they feel that their giving is better directed to India or China than it is here. And so it's often a challenge to build that connectedness here in Silicon Valley, and so I think that we have unique challenges. Now, I certainly can't explain the ills of the state, but I know there are a lot of smarter folks
yes,
than
that
me.
would take a long time. We couldn't do that in one show, but I guess it is so discouraging as we continue to see the numbers for our students, and yet you know that just like with the tutoring example you gave, and you tutor, and there's so many people who are just so invested in desiring to do well, and at the same time there's so many challenges that teachers face, that students face, that we're all facing in different ways to seeing our educational performances improve in that way. You said that you tutor. What ages have you tutored, or do you tutor now?
Well, the last couple of years I've actually been with a single student, a wonderful young man. His name is Omar. He's now, well, he's just graduating from the 4th grade, and so he's doing great, and his reading is really accelerated, and despite whatever influence I've had on him. But he's a very bright, charming kid, and I'm sure he's going to be a great success.
That's wonderful to hear the stories and to see the difference that it makes for the students, as you mentioned, Natasha, to just know that there's that bridge that is created. And you both have had great academic success in many areas. You're from the Bay Area. Who inspired you in terms of what you decided to pursue professionally?
Wow, great question. I would say it was probably my dad. He was just so passionate about education. He was the first kid in his family or any of his relatives to be able to go to college. And like so many of us here in the Valley, his story was one of working many jobs because his family knew well the immigrant experience, and so I think I was very inspired by the commitment to education that my dad had.
Yes, and of course your grandparents have a long history here and the market and everything there. Yeah. How about you, Natasha? What led you away from the Bay Area and then back?
Yeah, well, I would say my inspiration would be both of my parents. I'm a dual American Brazilian citizen. My mom is from Brazil, and she came to the U.S. To pursue higher education, and my dad is actually a professor at Santa Clara University. So education and higher education is very important. It's the culture that I've been brought up in, and Santa Clara is a Jesuit university, and so that was part of the motive for going back east to BC and pursuing my higher ed there. So, but this is home. So my parents have definitely been the influence. I mean, it's been an expectation in our family. It's an inevitability that you go to school and that's your path to success.
Yes, and you also lived in France for a while too?
I did.
I have envy. I've only been to Paris for a week, but
yeah, I actually was an English teacher in France, and I worked in 2 middle schools and a high school there in the public school system, so teaching English as a foreign language.
Yes. And how is the system there in terms of education? What did you see? Are there a lot of similarities?
Oh,
is it very different?
That's a whole other 2-hour segment. There are a lot of differences. I think that one of the things that my students really appreciated is that I tried to do a lot of interactive activities with them, and the French school system is still very based on worksheets, and you listen and you write, and then that's the end of the day. And so we tried to do a lot of hands-on things that they really liked, and it's a lot more structured. I think there's a lot less room for creativity. I mean, my kids were great, but I think that they were a little frustrated. They wanted to run around and they wanted to explore a little bit more, and so I tried to do that in the context of English, which is something that they'd been required to do for so many years, but make it a little bit more exciting to them, because for a lot of them I was the first American they'd ever met, and they didn't understand that I wasn't blonde, but I was from California. And
that's a big one to get over, right?
Yeah, so it was really fun.
Yes. And I know that now that we have this initiative and you're working as an umbrella, what's the goal for the future?
Well, our goal, as the title suggests, 1,000 Hearts for 1,000 Minds, is we want to connect 1,000 kids who are struggling behind grade level in literacy, math, or science with 1,000 caring adults. Under Natasha's leadership, we've got a couple hundred already engaged in tutoring, which is fantastic, and we're going to keep reaching out to more and more companies and more organizations. We would love to be able to partner with folks out there in whatever their social networks might be, whether it's in the workplace, through their Rotary Club, through their church, and be able to get out and make the pitch and encourage people to volunteer. And so we can be contacted at heartsforminds.org, yes. And Natasha and her strong, small but mighty team will be out there helping us make the pitch.
Yes, and we'll put that information on the screen as well, because I know that you said, and through social media, people can like you on Facebook and really get to know and support, because it is really bringing the community together. It's reaching out, as you said, the umbrella for so many people to just become engaged. You've had success with a couple hundred, and just getting more people involved, you can make it a company effort, which is really a fantastic way to do that.
Absolutely. And as you mentioned about, tackling the bigger problems in education, to make someone an advocate in the education system, there's nothing more tangible than giving them a student to really understand what's going on. And so if we want more people to get engaged in the education system, start small, have them work with a student, get engaged in the school environment and really understand, because we're bombarded so much with all this negative news about the education system. And so get rid of all that noise and focus in on one student's experience and really understand what's going on. And I think that will help people be able to understand the bigger picture a lot better by having that tangible experience.
That's great. You wanted to add something, Sam?
No, just that what we also have learned is that it's a great way for employers certainly to boost morale in their own workplace and have people really committed to their companies when they see that their companies are invested in programs like this. So that's why we love making the pitch, and we hope it helps the companies too.
Yes, it's a win-win for everyone. Well, thank you so much for what you're doing to make a difference. And again, if you'd like to contact 1,000 Hearts for 1,000 Minds, details are on our screen. Thank you. The San Jose Jazz Festival is an annual tradition featuring internationally acclaimed artists and new innovations each year. So if you've never had the pleasure of experiencing the festival, here's a little bit of what you've missed.
Somehow this feeling just grows and grows.
Brendan Rawson is the interim executive director of the San Jose Jazz Festival. Brendan, nice to see you. Welcome.
Thank you, Janice.
So, glad to have you. What can we look forward to this year?
Well, we got a lot of music. August 10 to 12 is this year's festival, and it's 12 different stages. So it's added 2 stages this year to the festival. It's about 120 acts in total that will be happening over those 3 days. So it's going to be a lot of fun. We've had a fun tradition the past few years of starting out on the Friday nights with the funk act. So this year, Morris Day and the Time.
Oh my gosh, he's hilarious.
Yeah, it'll be a lot of fun.
Yes,
great.
Yes, he's great. I did something with him a while back where I was introducing him and coming out with the bird. It's definitely a crowd pleaser with
Absolutely.
all of that. So what about Saturday then?
Saturday is all day. Music starts at 12 noon,
Okay.
and sort of the main stages go up through 8 p.m. But we'll be starting out on the main stage. You'll get to see some things. Alessandro Pinezzi, a Brazilian artist, will be helping us get things started. The Jazz Crusaders will be headlining on Saturday night on the main stage. There'll be a lot, the salsa stage, the Latin stage, the blues stage, our Metro Market stage features a lot of great local acts.
Yes.
We've added a new stage this year with Gordon Biersch. So on the Saturday, we'll be doing Latin acts, and on Sunday, some straight ahead jazz acts.
Wow, you are always expanding, as I said. How do you choose? Because it's always fabulous, but as you were naming them, I was just thinking, going through that process of deciding who's going to be a part of it, and then even the local acts that get to be a part of it, that must be daunting.
Well, thank goodness it's not, the responsibility doesn't fall all on my shoulders.
Okay.
Bruce Labadie, our artistic director, he's been programming the festival since year 1. So 23 years. So this is our 23rd festival, and he's just does an outstanding, wonderful job, very well connected, and he's always out there checking out different festivals and acts that are things he wants to bring to San Jose. We had fun, actually, both of us, a couple of years ago, were down at the Jazz and Heritage Festival in New Orleans. Saw a great young lady, Amanda Shaw, fiddle player, that we're going to bring out and have her on Saturday on the main stage, and then also later in the evening we'll have her on the blues stage for a different set. So Bruce is great about kind of finding interesting acts for us.
Yes. How have you seen things change over the years for the festival?
Well, it's been nice to see how much the community responds to the diversity of what we're putting out there. I think we've really kind of established ourselves, folks, of knowing us as so much more than just a jazz festival. We have some amazing jazz artists. We have Diane Reeves, Terrence Blanchard this year, some great acts. But as I said, with the salsa stage, the Latin stage, blues, the different sort of pieces. We have our youth stage. You add in on top of that all that we're doing along with the different food vendors, different things that folks are able to check out being downtown for the weekend. It's a wonderful way to spend an August afternoon.
Yes, it is. And music is so universal. In addition to obviously the festival, which is your big annual event, you also have programs for the schools. Can you tell me a little bit about what goes on there?
Yeah, so on our education side, we've got 3 different really strong, impressive programs that I think folks often don't realize that we're involved with. Our K-4 program is in partnership with the Franklin McKinley School District, and that's called Progressions. And with that, we've actually, this coming year, we'll be adding 4th grade. We've been doing each successively a new year with each academic year that starts. And that's been a wonderful partnership with Choral, Catholic Charities Program, and Franklin McKinley School District. They'd love to see us in all schools there. And
so you go into the classrooms, or the students go somewhere to enjoy
after school.
After school, okay.
Yep, and it follows a Kodály music education structure, which very established process, and we've been very excited bringing that to the district. So beyond that, we also have our High School All-Stars, which is a lot of fun. We got, I think it's 13 different schools that are represented with our All-Stars, from all the way from San Ramon down to Morgan Hill. And they're performing all around town. They're definitely getting lots and more calls of folks wanting to book the High School All-Stars. So
how exciting for them.
They're a lot of fun, yeah. And then we also, right now, we're actually in the middle of our annual summer jazz camp. So got 100 kids right now out at the Mexican Heritage Plaza for 2 weeks around our summer jazz camp.
That's
so,
wonderful. There, and you also have the Jazz Collective. That's another one of your programs. Is that related to
this one? That's kind of morphed into what we now have as the High School All-Stars.
Okay.
A lot in terms of our collective and opportunities that we sort of present. We've had established a great jazz jam that happens every other Wednesday night at the Headley Club in the De Anza Hotel.
Nice.
And that certainly has been a wonderful forum of community of artists coming together throughout the year. And it's a great vibe. It's a great jazz hang. If you want to check out some great local music, it's definitely a place to see. That's the 1st and 3rd Wednesday of each month.
Yeah, it's wonderful that you're filling the streets of San Jose with so much music in so many ways, especially because when we're looking at the economy, looking at the challenges, this is one of the opportunities through the festival and all of what you're doing for people to really have a transformative experience, truly, that's exciting and brings community together and is just so much fun just to listen to.
Yeah, it's been nice too. With the festival, we keep leveraging on the good work that we've had there. Last year, we started a Winter Jazz Fest, which was great fun. We did that in early March last year. Great success, kind of our winter cool complement to the to Summerfest. But we've also added, I think it's like almost 150 dates now throughout the year.
Oh my gosh, I didn't realize that many.
Yeah,
wow.
It's a ton of activity that we're doing every Wednesday night. In addition to the jam, those are the 1st and 3rd Wednesdays. Each of the other Wednesdays of the month, we're usually presenting a straight ahead act in one of the downtown hotels.
Who provides your funding?
It's a pretty great mix. You know, we've been very fortunate to have support from both the Silicon Valley corporate community, some great partners, Adobe, Synaptics, Applied Materials. They've been very wonderful to us over the years. And then also some of the great institutional funders, Hewlett Foundation. The City of San Jose is a great partner with us, and our Arts Council. And then our member base. You know, we have a lot of great composer and platinum level donors that also step up on occasions underwriting specific artists and all of that.
Yes, well, it is wonderful, and I'm so glad that you are continuing to expand and bringing us so many great things. So, Brendan, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Janice, very much.
And if you'd like to make sure that you get to enjoy the jazz, details about the festival and some of the other events are on our screen with the website there and everything you need to know to reach out and find out more. So, Brendan, thank you again.
Thank you, Janice, very much.
And we want to thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for putting your signature on Silicon Valley. I'm Janice Edwards. Please join us again. We hope to see you next week. Great. Cheers.